are listening to the Paranormal Chronicles radio show. Here is your host, paranormal researcher and author of the best-selling A Most Haunted House, Gavin Lee Davis.
Welcome, my name is G.L Davies, author of the terrifying true account that is haunted horror of Haverfordwest and founder of the ParanormalChronicles.com. Thank you for joining me on my exploration into all things mysterious and of a paranormal nature as we broadcast to you from beautiful Pembrokeshire, West Wales. This series is brought to you by sixth-books.com. Visit sixth-books.com today and explore a wealth of reading on the supernatural and the spiritual. Visit sixth-books.com today. Thank you to all our new followers. All our followers are put into a monthly prize draw to win cool paranormal books. Plus, we'll be giving away a £25 or $1 Amazon gift voucher to one of our lucky followers in one of our September 2019 episodes. It's our way of saying thank you for supporting the show. Explore and download our archives with 20 incredible episodes featuring witness encounters with demons, Bigfoot, UFOs and ghosts, on-location reports from some of Pembrokeshire's most haunted locations, and the very best guests on the planet talk about their paranormal and spiritual experiences and research right here. If you have an account, experience or theory you would like to share, then find and message the Paranormal Chronicles on Instagram or Facebook, tweet at Parachron or email paranormalchronicles@aol.com. On tonight's show, what are attachments and are they harmful to us? Where does psychic energy come from? Do we all have spirit guides? Why are some people drawn to psychic phenomenon and others not? Tonight we are blessed to be joined by the incredibly in-demand best-selling author that is Sherrie Dillard, who talks about her new book, I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like. Sherrie Dillard is the internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and is the expert at helping others to develop and understand their intuitive and spiritual gifts. She is the author of 9 books that have been translated into 12 languages. She's given over 50,000 readings worldwide and has been featured on radio and television for her incredible books and her work as a psychic detective. Sherrie's work with police detectives in the Stephanie Bennett murder cold case made national news and was featured on Psychic Detective television show. This is an incredible interview that will motivate, inspire and enlighten, but will get you pondering. Have you ever met a dead person you didn't like? On with the show. The book opens with a description of recalling a traumatic event and a near-death experience. Do you think that this had anything to do with your ability to communicate with the other side?
That's a great question. I feel that, you can never be certain whether or not whatever we do, kind of leads to that kind of psychic opening. I suspect that my familiarity and my feeling that the other side was good, that it was comfortable, that it was safe, if it didn't completely open that part of me, it certainly gave me that cushion security with the other side that helped me to open more. I suspect my ability to communicate and see spirits when I was very young is linked to that, and that I never shied away from it, because for me, again, when I didn't know that that's what happened to me until I was much older, and I went through a process of recovering that memory. But as a child, I just instinctually felt very safe with anything that had to do with, seeing spirits or hearing, messages within, or knowing that there was something other than the physical world.
So the title of the book is I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like. Is this true of all of those on the other side? Are they all likable?
A lot of people have asked me that question, or they simply text or email me and said, really? Well, I don't, there's a lot of questions. Is that true?
Yeah.
I feel that the soul is, by its nature, divinely connected to a higher power, a higher presence, and that it is good. And when people pass over, what happens is that the ego part of us falls away, the part of us that has probably done things that have not always been feeling good to ourselves and others, made mistakes, that kind of thing. And what surfaces is a soul perspective. We see things, we see ourselves and everything that we've done. Through the soul review, we see that as what we can learn from that. We see the bigger picture of that. And through that process, what I found communicating with those on the other side is that, yeah, I really do like people. I really do like them. And I've worked with people that have done pretty rotten things when they've been here in the physical, but they understand better how they may have, kind of harmed others, caused others pain, caused themselves pain. And there's an incredible amount of sense of humbleness and forgiveness that they feel for others. I mean, that they certainly are humbled by their own actions, but more so by a presence that they feel that is loving, that is good. Now, I do believe, though, that there are dark forces. I do believe that there are there's negative thought forms, that there are certain spirits, souls that have had attachments and passed over, and unfortunately, for several reasons, different reasons, may not have gone over into the light. Yeah. I still believe that they are basically good souls in there. I still believe that there is a pure energy life force energy they hold that cannot be marred or dissolved. But they're not operating from that. They're operating from more of a dark negativity, or they have an attachment that has its own agenda. And so, unfortunately, those souls we think of as, bad or harmful. And a lot of times they are harmful, and a lot of times they are bad. But essentially, I still believe that at that heart, they are good. And that's why we can transform those energies. And at times we can work with them to bring them into the light and to help souls that are trapped by them. When I do readings, when I say meet dead people, I'm talking about the people that I work with, the souls I communicate with as a medium. I don't really communicate with dark energies in that same way. So
if I can ask, where do the attachments come from that cause all this negativity? Are they human beings, or are they something totally different?
Well, I think they may have experienced life as a human being. I feel like there are, there's so many levels of attachments. Some attachments, and I've worked with people that have had their own family members attached to them. I had one client I'll never forget who was very, very, very close to her mother. Her whole life she lived with her, and they were so bonded. And when she came in for a reading to talk to her mother on the other side, I realized your mother's not on the other side. I mean, she is. She's passed over. She's with you. I mean, she's literally in your energy field. Her mother didn't mean to cause her harm. She wasn't an evil, bad spirit, but she was attached to her in a way that wasn't good for either one of them. I mean, the woman came in to talk to her mother, but she also had these excruciatingly bad headaches. She couldn't sleep. Her health was not doing well. And a big part of that, I believe, was because her mother was attached to her energy and just drawing energy from her. So there are attachments that don't mean us harm, that are simply lost souls. But they can, if they're attached to us, they're not good for us. I mean, they're not good for us, mind, body, spirit. And it's not good for them. They need to go to the light. And then there are dark forces that attach to people that are not as benign, that do mean more harm. Now, a lot of times I've found that those darker energies are, kind of a mass of negative thought form too, as opposed to one soul. I don't really feel that those generally are one soul. They usually come from a different level on the spirit realm that is, kind of a darker realm. And those are the ones that are really more dangerous.
You describe a time of confusion when you were younger, when you were homeless, and you didn't know what to do or where to go. It was a moment where you surrendered to a higher power. How much do you think this changed your life and future?
Well, I feel like it, at the time that I did that, at the time that I surrendered, I mean, it was a full, complete surrender because I really didn't see a life for myself. I remember I did this in the mountains near a river that I had been camping out at, and I had to leave there, and I didn't have any place to go. I didn't know where I was going to go. I remember sitting up all night and just thinking about the choices I had. I thought about, I can go try to get a job. I didn't know quite how I was going to make the money to get someplace, but I was thinking, well, maybe I can go back to school. I can do this. Maybe I can do that. And everything I came up with, I thought, I'm going to end up with this question that I have right now that's always been, just needing an answer from me. And that was, what is my life worth? What is my purpose? I didn't want to go through all of that just to get to the place I was right then, which is I needed more. I needed something else. My life as I envisioned it wasn't really worth anything to me. And the only way I could really feel that my life had meaning was to give it up, was to release, to surrender to something much more powerful. And so that's what I did, is I completely did that. And I felt a huge sense of relief when I did that. So if I hadn't done that, the shape that I had been in at that time, I suspect if I hadn't done that, I would have been incredibly depressed. I mean, we can never say for certain what would have happened, but I can tell you that what gave me joy was to surrender. And I feel like I would have probably continued to search and to try different things, and I would probably have been quite depressed. And any scenario I think of, if I hadn't done that, doesn't really feel like it would have been very good.
In the midst of psychic and medium experiences, you encountered religious and spiritual people, practices and phenomena that challenged your childhood religious upbringing and personal beliefs. Is there a link between being psychic and spirituality?
For me, there is. For me, that there's a undeniable link between psychic energy and spirituality. One of the reasons that I was resistant to being a psychic and to a medium was that I didn't see that link, and it just didn't seem very attractive to me I guess it's the fears a lot of people have of, kind of dabbling in something and, bumping into a spirit that's negative or bad, or, it just seemed very unattractive. And then when I started to have psychic experiences that involved more divine presence, spirituality, more of a sense of connection to something greater, that was good. And I felt that more so than I had ever felt goodness. I could feel it there. Everything changed for me because I realized that it wasn't just something to do being psychic. It wasn't just a unknown. It was something that had more purpose and meaning. And I definitely feel that psychic energy comes from our soul. I feel like it's an aspect of our greater self. When I talk about the soul, I really feel that it's that, what I was saying earlier, it's that divine life force energy that we all have. And that's where psychic ability comes from, is from that core divine self. Because when we pass over, we're very psychic. I mean, we're psychic to the degree that we don't even think it's a big deal. That's just what we are. That it's like breathing here. We don't think about breathing, we just breathe. When we go over, we're psychic. We just know, we feel, we see. We don't use our five senses. We don't have five senses. We use our psychic sense. So it is by its very nature quite spiritual.
We will be right back after these important messages.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherrie Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
How far would you go to protect the children in your care? Nyla's Babies is the terrifying, chilling book from Jack Simonson, in which a young nanny battles an ancient demon for the souls of the twin babies in her care. Critics have heralded Nyla's Babies as an impressive and vivid imagined story, compelling and devilishly spooky, shocking and haunting. Nyla's Babies is available on Amazon, Kindle, or wherever books are sold. Visit cosmicegg-books.com for more on Nyla's Babies.
Sixth Books will take you to other worlds, haunt you, open your mind, and push you far beyond the veil of the unknown. Sixth Books is a leading publisher of books on the body, mind, and spirit, the paranormal, consciousness, ancient wisdom, and the afterlife. Explore today, learn today, open your mind today, read today. Visit sixth-books.com today. The world as you know it is about to change.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Hi there, my name is Claire Waters and I would like to invite you on an incredible journey. I have written a book based on my personal experiences called Raising Faith, a true story of raising a child psychic medium. It's my family's extraordinary experiences with our young daughter's ability to communicate with spirits and the inspirational lessons learned on our journey. Raising Faith is currently available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle and wherever books are sold. Join me on this beautiful and incredible adventure. For more information on Raising Faith, visit my website raisingfaith.co.uk or my Facebook page, Raising Faith Book. See you there.
The international chart-topping, haunted horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
So why do you think people become interested in psychic phenomenon? What opens that door? Is it fate or a personal choice?
I think for some it's fate. And when I say fate, I'm talking about kind of our soul path and what we have kind of signed on to come into this life with. We've all not written down on paper, but on our own, kind of spiritual map before we come into this life, what we'd like to experience, what we would like to grow into, evolve, what we need to make choices about, that kind of thing. And I think a lot of people come in to bring forth more of this psychic energy because it is part of who we are. It's a part of our very divine nature. And it's a great way to experience our divine nature. It's wonderful. It's fun. It's good. So I think for some, we're led down that path because it is part of that. And it's also an interest. And, it's something that doesn't go away. Some people, are led to this through their own personal experiences, whether that's a hunch or it's a full-blown, kind of vision or something. A lot of times, most of the people that I work with, very, very few people that I've ever actually even met have never had a psychic experience or even an intuition or a feeling or a knowing. I think it's incredibly common. I think ultimately it's all our fate, though. I think ultimately we're evolving into psychic beings because we're evolving into our soul. So I think it's just a matter of time for everybody.
Well, that's a wonderful notion that we're transforming, evolving into a different kind of species, a more spiritual, aware creature. So going back to I've never met a dead person I didn't like. Now, there's a lot of personal life experience traumas in that book that people can read about. Now, the book, it's an instant classic. It's an instant bestseller. It was released about 2 weeks ago from this interview, and just immediately it made this huge impact. Now, one of the things that it does touch upon in the book is that you came from a dysfunctional family system. Has psychic awareness helped you heal? Can it help others? And if so, how?
Yeah, I really believe that all healing is divine healing, even if it's coming through a doctor, a surgery, chemo, whatever it may be. I really feel it all comes again from our soul, because our soul can never be ill. It can never be sick or polluted. It's just that pure divine life force that's always healthy. It's always whole. And it's calling that forth. And sometimes, like I said, it comes forth through intervention with medical, but sometimes it also comes forward to us through our own awareness and our own touching into that part of ourselves. I've had many clients, because I do medical intuition, who have had serious illnesses and problems and cancers and things like that. And it's kind of amazing how the spiritual path really is a path of healing. I mean, it really is a path of healing. And, in my own life, I had so much trauma in my childhood, and I wrote about it in the book. And I think one of the biggest things that ever happened to me in my life was healing, was the encounter I had with that, this incredible divine force that I really literally feel healed the emotional problems, the emotional things I had been through. I feel like if that had not happened, I don't think I would have, I just can't imagine what life would be like for me. People are often surprised they read the book or they learn about my past and they wonder why I'm so healthy or I don't really have, emotional problems. I really don't have that. And it's really because of the psychic energy, because of the spiritual healing that I feel I've had. And I think that's available to anybody. I think it's inherent, again, within us. It's part of who we are.
Oh, most definitely. And I think with I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like, I think at the core of the book is an inspirational story of what happened to you, how you've rebounded. And not only have you rebounded, you've evolved. You found a power, a gift that in turn you are using to help other people. In the later part of I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like, you discover what feels like a spiritual calling. Do you think everyone has a purpose and a calling, or is it only a selected few?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely feel that, I really feel that, time is really speeding up. When we look at the planet and all the challenges we have here, and we're under so much kind of internal and external pressure here right now. And I really feel that our evolution has to speed up right now, too. We have to evolve into kind of those higher, newer forms now. So, yeah, I absolutely believe that we're all on that path and that part of that calling is that whatever, I think a calling is kind of the form that takes in our life. And it can take all different kinds of forms. You're working on that level through helping people like myself get books out and have their message heard. And in part, that's your calling, that, you've been called into that service in that way. I've been called into service and, the way I do through writing and through being a medium and working with others. And, some people are called into working. I have clients who work in corporations that there's nothing that you would think of spiritual in the corporation, but yet they bring that in with their own energy and they're present in that way. And that's a calling. So I think it gives our life meaning and purpose more and gives it energy when we recognize that we may be living our calling and not aware of it. When we're able to see, this is the possibility of what can happen here if I'm in that state of awareness and I allow energy, this positive energy, to move through me, what's possible. Because ultimately, that's all we need to do. And we're led to, we think we have to kind of figure out the purpose and then do it. We don't. What we need to figure out is simply that we can surrender to it, open to it, and it's going to lead us to it. We don't have to, we'll be led to the purpose once we allow it to happen. Once we allow ourselves to be led, we find it.
So that's a case of just letting go and just embracing it.
Yeah.
Just being
aware. And there's that, I can't remember if it was Marianne Williamson. I mean, it might have been her or it might have been Nelson Mandela. I can't remember who said, I think maybe it was Nelson Mandela. I can't remember who said that what we're most afraid of is our power. We're most afraid of that part of us. And I think that that's what this is. I think that the hardest part is embracing that, the power that we do have and letting it flow from there. I mean, I know people I work with people all the time. They have kind of a hard time sometimes making that leap and thinking that they can be someone who changes things for the better, who has a real purpose here. And yet, really, it's not an ego thing at all. In fact, it's the opposite, because once you embrace that, something else happens, something clicks.
Well, towards the end of your book, you give up your desires to be an artist and surrender to the direction of your spirit guides. Mm-hmm. What do you think would have happened if you hadn't? Do we have free will, or does fate direct our lives?
I feel that I probably would have been given another opportunity. I think that that's the way spirit works. It's the way spirit's worked in my life, and I've seen it in others, is that we don't really just have one try. I think that spirit is persistent with us and continuously is present. And even if because I tried so many times to run away from myself, run away from everything that was happening to me. I mean, I went all over the country trying to get away from me and find, something outside of myself that could explain what was happening to me. And ultimately, I never found anything outside of myself. It was only what was inside of me that answered the questions. And I think that I just think that we're continuously given opportunity over and over and over and over and over in our life to accept that there is maybe a higher plan, or that there are answers in us, or that we can embrace something that's, really beautiful within us, and we can accept that. So I don't think that ever goes away. I think that we can save ourselves a lot of time, though, and problems and anxiety if we get that, though, and just and it's a funny thing, because when we talk about it, it seems pretty simple, like, oh yeah, I can accept that. But yet in practice, it's kind of scary, to let go. Yeah.
So does everyone have spirit guides? People like me.
Oh gosh, absolutely. Oh, I'm sure you have dozens. No, really, because the more you do, the more people the more lives you're touching, the more influence you have, and you have a lot of influence because you're spreading the word with all these authors, and so if you do work that affects and influences others, heals, whatever it may be, you have so many more guides. We all have some guides, but the more you do, the more spirit guides are present and helping and working through you.
I hope so. I hope they appreciate the work I do, because it's a pleasure for me. It was really nice earlier when you said, you have a calling. My calling might be to offer a platform for people like yourself. There's people listening now, and I hope I'm a conduit. And I ask the questions that they want to know. For example, does everyone have spirit guides? Now, I've never met a dead person I didn't like. It's absolutely superb. It's smashing the charts in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in America. Critically, it's been universally acclaimed. The sales are going through the roof. But what's next for you? How do you follow up with, I've never met a dead person I didn't like?
Well, that's a good question. Usually I'm kind of right on it. Usually I just go from task to task, and I know what I'm doing, and I tend to have a, kind of a real lot of focus in my life. Right now, I don't know what's going on. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm in this place I hadn't been in a really long time, which is I'm waiting. And I think that that's a good thing. I think that it's okay. And I guess I'm saying that because we have to remember that when we don't know, when we're not clear, a lot of times that's because there's new energy coming in and we're not following the old. We're kind of creating, something new is happening. We're not going into the old pattern. So I'm kind of excited to see where I'm led. I know I will be. I know all of us will be. I know that, I tell you, you just open a little bit to spirit and it just swoops in and, loves to be part of our lives in such a beautiful way. So, and like I said, everything's ramping up. We all know that. We're all evolving at a much higher, stronger pace right now. So I think if you don't know where you're going, if you're like me, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe something kind of beyond our imagination is going to be coming.
That would be an amazing prospect for us all. I certainly think that we're on the cusp of either something very terrifying or something absolutely incredible. There's too many of us now on this little planet. We're taking more than we need, and we're leaving very little behind. So we need something incredible, something beautiful to just unite us together, or transcend us into different life form, which isn't so consumed with consuming.
Right.
You offer various services, I believe, mediumship. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I'm a medium, which is communicating with the other side. I'm also a medical intuitive, which I work with mostly people that have illnesses that, are hard to understand, and also, kind of helping with healing with that. And I do psychic work also, which is, getting messages and helping people in the kind of everyday things of life too.
Because I know a lot of the listeners tonight are going to be very intrigued, want to know some more, want to get in touch. So people listening, they can get in touch with you. There's a website where they can find out about some of the services you offer. Is that correct?
That is correct. SherrieDillard.com.
So SherrieDillard.com. And are you on Facebook?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've got 3 pages. I've got my Sherrie Dillard page, and then I've also got a page called You Are Psychic, which is actually a lot of people. If you're developing psychic abilities and want to just talk about it, put things out there, get advice from other people, what their experiences are, it's a great page to do that. I love what's happening on that You Are Psychic page. I also monitor it pretty good, so you have to go through me to get in, basically. So it's a safe group is what I'm saying. I keep it, something that people can feel comfortable with. And then I also have a sacred signs and symbols page too, for people that are getting a lot of signs and don't know what that's about or want to talk about that. So yeah, it would be great. All those pages are free. There's a lot of good discussion happening, and you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, get a free gift if you do that, and get my newsletter. And yeah, so there's lots going on that I do for, just everybody, because it's fun to do and helpful.
So by going to sherriedillard.com, signing up for the newsletter, you may win a free gift. And also, you've got amazing pages, Sacred Science and Symbols on Facebook. That sounds like that's a show all on its own there. That sounds absolutely superb. And if you are looking to explore your psychic abilities, or you think you are psychic, or you want to know a bit more, Sherrie Dillard has the Facebook page, You Are Psychic. It's worthwhile getting in touch with Sherrie. She's an intelligent, incredible, passionate, beautiful woman who has so much to offer. And when you read I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like, you can't help but just get caught up in this amazing woman and all the good she's doing. It's the best testimonial, the best endorsement I can give for a book. It's a memoir, it's a guide, it's a journey, and many of you can connect to that. A lot of you that are having struggles in your life right now, read I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like, and Sherrie will be your guiding light. She'll be your beacon. She'll be your lighthouse to show you, guess what? I've been there. And guess what? You can come out of it. Not only can you come out of it, you can come out of it stronger, more empowered, and you can help other people. Sherrie, it's the end of the show. I appreciate your time so much, but could you leave our listeners with a final thought?
Yes. I think that you kind of opened me to that final thought, which is no matter what you're going through, no matter how dismal it seems, like I said, when you read the book, you will see I've been there. I know what that's like. And I also know that to the degree that we have felt that confusion, that being lost, that anxiety, to that degree and more, so much love, goodness, comfort, and relief can come to us. And along with that comes a part of us that is so much more powerful and beautiful than we could have ever imagined, which is our soul, our spirit, our psychic ability, our intuition. That world opens, and that's what the world needs right now. We need it personally, and the world needs us in that way. I think that, sometimes it's so hard to know what to do in this world. And that's what we can do. That's the beauty. That's the present. That's the gift we can give the world, is our own opening, because that allows so much more to come through into this earth and to, without even realizing it, help everybody.
Sherrie Dillard, you're one of the most wonderful and incredible ladies ever.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I so much appreciate it.
There we have it. An emotional interview from a woman that has taken her trauma and suffering and created a life to harness her gifts and to help others. I hope it has inspired you. There's a lot of detail in I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like, an insight into Sherrie's life, which is as heartbreaking as it is motivational. The book is quite tonic and connects with the reader in the most beautiful way. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, on Kindle, through Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. Read it, it's amazing. Sherrie can be contacted regarding her books, mediumship, and other gifts at sherriedillard.com, and find her on Facebook too. She's very kind and friendly and will appreciate you reaching out. Sherrie wrote a great article on the paranormal world in the Free for All for Paranormal Chronicles digital magazine. It's free and it has articles by the very best authors and researchers in the world. Visit www.theparanormalchronicles.com/magazine today. No sign up, no subscription, just free editions of free knowledge for you that you can enjoy on your computer, tablet or phone. Visit www.theparanormalchronicles.com/magazine today for your free digital magazine. It is amazing, trust me, go on and have a read. It's free. Remember to follow so you never miss an episode. We have great interviews and on-location reports coming soon. Share to your friends and find the Paranormal Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Let me leave you with this. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like has a number of traumatic and harrowing events that affected Sherrie's life. Sherrie's message is that we can rise from depression, from trauma, from grief, and we can find a meaningful world to live in. You have to know that your life matters. People care about you, and no matter how tough life gets, there is a beacon of hope and things can get better. I know this. I was dependent to alcohol. I suffer with suicidal depression and bipolar disorder. I had a mini stroke, and here I am, grateful that I have you, yes you, wherever you are in the world. You matter, your life matters, and together we explore the unknown. Thank you for listening. Sleep well.